Hey guys, I'm at the rack here at Livingston actually, and I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to play basketball. So, basketball kind of has a lot of different facets, obviously, to the game. You basically have people running up and down the court playing defense, shooting the basketball, dribbling, passing, a lot of different facets. So we're basically going to be, coming together here and showing you how to do that. So the first part of the game is dribbling the basketball. The second part of the game is obviously learning how to shoot the basketball. Third part of the game is going to be talking about how you play defense. And the fourth part of this presentation is going to be delving into the idea of what the rules of basketball are, what can you do, what can't you do, the dimensions of the court, stuff like that, basic stuff that everybody should know when they play basketball. So guys, I'm on the court. Starting off with dribbling, you want to pick your dominant hand, right? So in this case, I'm a righty, so I'm going to be using my dominant hand as my right hand. Now, I dribble the basketball slowly and high. Right above the waist level is where you want to keep the basketball when you dribble. Or right below it, rather, I'm sorry. So when you keep it right below the waist level, when someone decides to steal the basketball from you, no one is able to do that. And so that's exactly what I'm trying to accomplish when I do this. Now, the second step, in dribbling, obviously, because you can't just walk around dribbling with one hand, or else, you're never going to be able to score the basketball. So what's the second step when it comes to basketball? Great question. Well, the answer to that question is obviously the crossover, right? So when I crossover dribble, I'm allowed to move this way, and then I can dribble backwards, move this way, right? So obviously a lot of basketball players, they use this move. Actually, every single basketball player uses this move, because if you can't, well, then you're really not a basketball player. So I think one of the most important things when we talk about dribbling is being able to just move right back and forth, back and forth. So that's essentially the two key aspects of how to dribble the basketball. Obviously, there's a lot more complex stuff you can go into with, under the legs or behind the back, but that's stuff that only complex players and advanced players go into. So for our purposes, there's two steps. Once again, dribble the basketball, keep it below your waist, and the second step is crossover, while also keeping it below the waist. So now if you look at Aaliyah dribbling the basketball, she's dribbling, she's moving to her right, but she can't get by the defender. Watch what she does when she crossover dribbles. Bam.
Well guys, as you know, I'm Aaliyah. I play basketball here at Rutgers, and I'm the star of this video. I'll be talking to you guys today about how to shoot. Okay, the first thing that's important for a basketball player is to have their feet square to the basket. You want to have your feet square to the basket because you want to have your body square to the direction that you're shooting in so that your shot doesn't go off to the right. The second step is to have your knees bent. You see how she has her knees bent? Now she's balanced and no one can really knock her over. So the second step is to have the ball in your shooting pocket and to have it in a tray-like position so that you have a balanced release point. And to always recognize is that you have a little bit of space in between the ball. Your fingertips are on the ball so that you can have a balanced release point and you can make the shot. You want to release the ball on your fingertips like your hand is going into a cookie jar. Her hand is in a form of going into a cookie jar. So let's do it all fast. Perfect.
Yo, I'm Justice and I'm going to be teaching you how to play defense. So I'm going to be telling you the steps of defense. The first step is to get low. The reason why you have to get low, because if you stand up too tall, somebody could push you and you'll lose balance. So we get low for balance. Then the next step is to be arm's length away. So when you get low, you want to be arm's length away. So when you do this, we have getting low, we have arm's length away. So now there's two ways you could do. Straight man, right in front of them, or you could cut them off. Either way. If their dominant hand is their right hand, then you want to cut them off. Alright, so step one is to get low. Arms length away, and you see how she's low. So his dominant hand is right hand, so she's going to cut him off on the right. And then he crosses. So in basketball, there are such things as fouls. The first foul is a reaching foul. The second foul in basketball is the shooting foul. See how she slapped his hand? The third foul in basketball is the body foul. See how she pushed him out of position?
I'm Darren, and I'm going to teach you how to pass.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about passing. Passing is an essential part of playing basketball. Distributing the ball between 1 to 2 players and even 3 4, 5, as many players as on the court, you have to distribute the ball. Step 1, we're going to get into how to grip the ball, hold the ball when you're passing it. Essentially, you're going to have both your hands gripping the ball tightly, making sure you have full control. Step 2, bring the ball close to your chest. Have your feet shoulder width apart so you have leverage, and bend your knees. Also take a step forward when you're passing the ball. This is a demonstration of the chest pass. Now we're going to do the bounce pass.
Hey guys, it's Raj here again. I'm going to be talking to you guys about the rules and regulations of basketball. So just to recap the 4 fundamentals of basketball. We have dribbling, we have passing, we have shooting, and then we finally have playing defense. Now the 5th segment of this presentation is actually going to be focused on the rules and regulations of basketball. These are extremely important because you can't play the game of basketball without understanding and having a grasp of the basic rules and regulations. So going right into it, we have to talk about the number of players. You can have anywhere from 1 to 5 players on the court for each side of the team. It's very basic, it's very easy to understand. You can play, as you can see to your left, a guy's playing another player one-on-one, which means the team of a team comprised of 1 player is competing against a team comprised of another 1 player. So you can do that. You can have up to a 5-on-5. You can have any variation in between. You can have a 2-on-4, whatever the case may be. These are the amount of players you can have: a max of 10, a minimum of 2. Next, I'd like to go into positions on the court, right? So if you guys look at the picture over here, this is Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. They're both shooting guards. Now this will be important when I talk about them later on, but you guys have all probably heard of the name Michael Jordan, obviously. He was the greatest basketball player of all time. But I'll go right into it in a little bit. So a point guard is the first position of basketball. Essentially with the point guard, they are typically pass-first players. Now what does that mean? When they dribble the ball up the court, the first thing they're looking to do is pass and get some ball movement. You move the ball, or you want as many players to touch the ball so that defenses get off their track and someone finds an open shot. Very logical. The shooting guard. They're typically the best shooters on the team, sometimes the best scorer on the team, and that's exactly what Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant were in their primes. They were the best scorers on their team. Now, small forward has a variation of both of the aforementioned skill sets. So, I read that word for word, but it's actually kind of easy to understand in the sense that a small forward is someone who has point guard abilities and shooting guard abilities, and they're put in a small forward's body. A small forward is typically, a person who's about 6 feet 6 inches, 6 feet 7 inches, 6'8", 6'9", and these are usually very tall and husky players. And I'm talking about for the NBA especially. This is where they have the ability to pass the ball pretty well and score the ball pretty well. They're not as good passers as the point guards. They're not as good shooters as the shooting guards, but they kind of have a little intermittent side of them. Now the power forward and the center are typically the taller players on the court. They're very good at blocking shots, and they concentrate their game around the rim. What does that mean? It means that, rarely do you see power forwards or centers out to the three-point line shooting three-pointers the way small forwards, shooting guards, and point guards do. So just keep that in mind going forward when you take a look at positions of basketball. Like I said before, shooting guards, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, they were amazing three-point shooters, great mid-range shooters. So overall, these guys just have great shooting ability. Now, scoring the basketball is extremely important in this case, too. Understanding where you can score a certain amount of points is extremely, extremely prudent. So if you take a look to your left side picture, you realize that there is a highlighted region within the arc, and that's extremely important to understand because outside of the arc, as you look to your right, it's a three-pointer. So anything outside of the arc, whether it's beyond half court or within the half court bounds, everything is just a three-pointer. So the rest inside of it is a two-pointer. Whether it's a layup, a dunk, they're all 2 points. Now, if you get fouled in the act of shooting and the shot goes in, so let's say someone hits your hand when you shoot the ball and the ball goes in, you get 1 free throw extra, depending on where you shoot it from, wherever. Now, if you missed the shot, then you get 2 free throws. So if you can make up for the points. So let's say you were trying to go get a layup and you got fouled and the layup didn't go in the hoop, right? Most likely it wouldn't because obviously you got fouled pretty hard. So you go to the free throw line, which is that semicircle, like the line in that semicircle, and you would take 2 shots from the free throw line, in other words, with nobody playing defense on you. Those are your free throws, in other words. Next, I'd like to go into the violations of basketball, right? So there are 2 essential violations that every player should know. First is the traveling violation. If you take a look at your left, I will play the clip and just analyze the player who is about to get the ball. As you can see, he's moving his legs, he's moving his legs. You cannot do that. In basketball, you can have a pivot foot. So once you catch the basketball in a basketball game, you cannot move your other 2 feet or whatever the case may be. You can only pivot the basketball. Now, if you look to your right, you have a double dribble. Now I'm going to show you the other main violation.
I've heard him compared to a lot of people so far this season. Haven't heard him compared to Abe just yet. I have now. Here's Johnson. Here's take on Hicks.
That's double dribble.
Terry Stotts is saying, what in the heck?
Yeah, they missed it completely. 3 refs out there. It's double dribble.
That was what the Trailblazer coaching staff was.
Now there's the first dribble. Now there's the second dribble. How do you miss that? I mean, he dribbled. He had double dribble.
So as you guys can see, there were 2 examples, the traveling and the double dribble. Now I'd like to go into the fouls. So FIBA, the International Basketball Federation, which is the worldwide basketball federation, states that there are 2 essential fouls, right? So this source basically explained to me that there are only 2 sorts of fouls, and that is a defensive foul and an offensive foul. In basketball, a defensive foul is any foul that is committed by the defender on the offensive player or the opposition. So in other words, if I'm dribbling the basketball and someone comes up to me and tackles me, then that is a defensive foul. An offensive foul, conversely, is essentially when I'm the player dribbling the basketball and I truck the defender right over me. If I do like a football tackle right on the defender, well, it's an offensive foul. I can't do that. Basketball, in essence, is a non-contact sport. Yes, it has contact, obviously. That's why you have violations and fouls set up for that as a repercussion method. But it is a non-contact sport. So with that, I'd like to basically end the segment on rules and regulations. I hope you guys enjoyed the presentation, and I hope you guys really learned something more about basketball. So my question to you guys as a way to basically end this thing is, who over here, please raise your hand, has actually learned a significant amount of basketball that they would not have known previously? And that's all I asked. So, when I asked you guys in the beginning, were one of you guys the basketball players that you guys wanted to be? Or in other words, in the beginning of this presentation, I asked you guys, are you one of those 26 million Americans that the SFIA reported plays basketball? And, who knows how many of you guys actually raised your hand. But I hope that this will incentivize you to actually play the game now that you understand how to play, how to dribble the basketball, how to shoot the basketball, how to pass effectively, how to play defense, so you don't look like what a lot of basketball players you like to use the word scrub, so you don't look like a scrub on the court, and you actually be like pretty good basketball player. So that's what our goal was as a group, and I hope you guys go towards that end. And with that, I'd just like to say thank you for listening to this 5-part segment on dribbling, passing, shooting, playing defense, and finally the rules and regulations. All right, see you guys.
I'm here with my boy today. What's your name?
Paul.
Yeah, we out here, Livy Gems, Rutgers. You already know what it is. Darian representing Rutgers football. But we out here. I'm about to play my boy up to 3 real quick. We're gonna show y'all how to play ball. So we just want to thank you guys for watching today. Hopefully we taught you how to properly play basketball. Thank you from Raj Patel, Aaliyah June, Justice Stewart, and Darian Harris. Thank you guys.